getting ready for the second half here in New Orleans. The Saints in control of the Lions, and rookie Matthew Stafford with Trent Green, Chris Myers, and you know, we talked about what the young quarterback should do. How about Drew Brees, a veteran with the lead, and you just fresh up from the field playing that position? It's got to be a comfortable feeling for Drew.
Drew's playing a great first half. He did have the one interception, but he has the 4 touchdown passes. He's done a great job of directing the offense, getting them points on the board, especially before the half, and getting some momentum going into the second half.
Now the Lions will get the football first, so is it conservative again? Do you have to be in a hurry-up mode since you're trailing by 18?
Well, you are trailing by 18, but I think what you have to do with Matthew Stafford is you have to keep it simple. You have to keep it organized for him. Right before the end of the half, he forced that ball in there when they were already in field goal range. He forced that ball in there, got the key interception, and now this second half, he's got to be able to put together a drive.
You enjoying being up here in the booth instead of down there getting chased by those big defensive linemen?
I tell you, I feel a lot better physically. I don't feel as sore as I normally would.
You've been calm. You got excited a few times when some of those plays were, well, I should say big plays, opportunities that were missed. As we are ready, Morstead to start the second half, and Aaron Brown has a chance this time to run one back. And Brown still on his feet up near the 29-yard line. Let's check in down on the field with Jennifer Hammond, caught up with Jim Schwartz.
Absolutely, Chris. And Jim said, don't give us too much credit for fighting our way back. We're still a ways down. We've got to take advantage of our opportunities. They've missed way too many chances when they've had turnovers and such. The one thing he said is we can't watch the scoreboard. We've just got to keep playing.
Thanks, Jennifer. And how big psychologically was that interception, especially on first down when you were in field goal range for a young guy like Stafford trying to establish himself?
Well, that's exactly what we talked about with the coaches last night, is him understanding the situation, knowing they were already in field goal range. He didn't need to force that ball.
Here he gets a fresh set of downs at 1st and 10. Kevin Smith, he's been the workhorse on the ground and has some running room. It's a couple of yards. Darren Sharper's big interception kept the Lions from adding any points there. A check of the first half numbers, and the Saints dominating passing yardage. A couple of turnovers for New Orleans. The Reggie Bush fumble. Time of possession favoring the Lions.
That's amazing when you see they've only got 84 yards of offense and they favor time of possession as lopsided as they do.
Check the clock. Second down. Stafford, quick pass. It's low, and he hung on to it. Calvin Johnson near the 40. No, he did not. For a big target, looks like we have a Saints player injured. For a big target at 6'5", those low throws have to be difficult, even for a guy like Johnson, who is so athletic.
You know, it is. It's a long way for him to go down there, especially a guy as big as Calvin is. Calvin's you know, he's 236 pounds, so for him to be able to get down there that low, he does have the athleticism. He's talked about being an elite player. He wants to be an elite receiver, but this is just a little too hard for him to come up with. You can see not only is it low, but it came in there kind of hot, came in there a little fast, and he did a good job trying to go after it, but
incomplete. Tracy Porter, the injured player for the Saints, will continue here in the third quarter.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By State Farm, to us, nothing's more important than being there. By AT&T, your world delivered. And by the all-new Taurus from Ford. Drive one.
Tracy Porter limps off for the Saints. In fact, Sean Payton said these are the best set of corners he's had since he's been in New Orleans. Jabari Greer added at the other spot. And Darren Sharper added at the safety position with the interception in the second quarter. So a third down play for Matthew Stafford. Saints threatening the blitz. Extra pressure. He's got time. That's complete for a first down and plenty of running room. That's Calvin Johnson. 6'5", and Calvin Johnson has a Lions touchdown. Nope, he stepped out of bounds. The official is pointing to a spot inside the 5. One official gave the signal that it was a touchdown.
Calvin Johnson here. They go right after Tracy Porter's replacement, rookie first-round pick. Malcolm Jenkins is one-on-one with Calvin Johnson. Calvin does a dig route to the inside. Malcolm goes for the tackle. He can't wrap up the big 236-pound receiver, and to the house he goes.
So one official pointing to an area where he may have stepped out, but we're going to wait and see. 64 yards is what the play covered. Looked to me like he avoided stepping out of bounds. We have a timeout. Jim Schwartz is upset. He's saying, oh, wait a minute. Are you saying he's out of bounds, or you're saying it's a touchdown? I don't want to use a timeout and waste it here. I'm interpreting all this from up here.
I would say he's a little hot. He's a little hot,
Well,
right
because
there.
I got it.
And rightfully so, because the play clock is running. The 40-second clock is running.
One official showed signal touchdown. The other official pointed as if he went out of bounds. He's clearly.
Detroit will not be charged with a team timeout. There was a delay getting the ball set ready for play. First down.
I'd be surprised they don't challenge that.
To me, that looked like a touchdown.
It did. And here comes the red flag. So
right.
they
So-
must have thought on the replay as well.
Whether you have 7 cameras or 17, that looks like a touchdown. The first official challenge from Jim Schwartz.
Looks like you can see Green between his foot and that white sideline.
And
So
Trent Green, you would know about that. I thought I was working with Shecky Green or Tom Green. Instead, we got Trent Green, the former quarterback, always rooting for that touchdown, no matter what.
and if you watched the Ohio State game last night, you had Cornelius Green. They showed some highlights from the former Buckeye quarterback. So
Yeah,
we'll
Matt-
just keep rolling on that theme.
Matt Barkley, talk about a freshman, a late drive helping his team win, and I think the Lions were hoping, as Matthew Stafford last night was very calm, said he'd watch his old Georgia Bulldogs, a little college football, hoping that he could bring that kind of opportunity to Detroit. And if they get the touchdown here with an extra point, they're back to within 11.
Well, I thought it was a great call on the Lions' part to go after Malcolm Jenkins right out of the bat. You go off. A lot of times you hear coordinators and coaches talk about that. If there's an injury, I want to know right away because I want to go after that guy right away. And even though Malcolm Jenkins is a first-round pick, he has had some plays on special teams. You've got a guy like Calvin Johnson one-on-one. You take that matchup and good things happen.
The official's right there, but it clearly, and you and I were down on the field beforehand, it's a clear between the green and the white. It's not as if this is that next turf. It doesn't overlap.
Right.
So there's a distinguishing mark there.
The ruling on the field as the receiver stepped out after the completion at the 3-yard line. Detroit is not challenging the play because we would not be able to award a score on that play. First down.
I don't know if that even made a lot of sense.
Well, Art McNally is here in the replay booth. See the official right there called it out of bounds. It's not a reviewable play in terms of a challenge because it was an out of bounds call. It still looked like he reached the end zone. On first down. Hand off to Kevin Smith. So there's no timeout loss for the Lions, but they don't get the 6 on the big play to Calvin Johnson.
And not to go back on the play, but that's going to be one of those things that the rules committee goes over again in the offseason to get that rule because that it seemed pretty clear that he didn't step out of bounds.
Yeah, scoring plays are reviewable, somebody breaking the plane, but an out-of-bounds sideline call, it's something maybe they ought to consider reviewing. At least that's what the Lions think. 2nd and goal. Jerome Felton is in. Calvin Johnson gets behind him in the backfield. Felton gets hit hard. He's kept out of the end zone. Well, for the Saints, they take advantage of the break if they force Detroit into a field goal. It's 3rd down here.
That's got to be a victory for the Saints, and one that the Lions are going to argue that they were in the first place with Calvin Johnson. But you've got to let that go. You've got to move on, and you've got to come forward. But that was a nice tackle by Scott Fujita, filling the hole there. Collision right at the 2-yard line, and Scott did a good job of wrapping him up.
How much is that interception the last time Stafford was down here lingering in the back of his head on 3rd down and goal? to the end zone, incomplete.
Late flag, and it looks like they're going to get a pass interference against Calvin Johnson, even though I think Matthew maybe forced that ball a little bit because there's two defenders there.
So who's the call on? Double coverage. Overthrown. Sometimes you say, is it catchable? With Calvin Johnson, everything's catchable.
That's going to be the argument.
Now Sean Payton is hot. Calming down. He's got the lead. He's at home. All right, the crowd chanting unfavorable things for Mike Carey.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 42, hitting the defenseless receiver in the head with a forearm. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So the 13-year veteran Darren Sharper gets called. Some might see that as a makeup call. I'm just thinking out loud.
You know, I didn't really see it, but I know that's one of the points of emphasis this year is defenseless receivers and blows to the head or neck area.
This is not a reviewable play. Maybe at the very end of the play, but it's a fresh set of downs from Matthew Stafford. Kevin Smith, nothing. Jonathan Vilma made the stop, and Cedric Ellis came out with the football.
I tell you right now, they're marking the play down because forward progress had stopped. You can see the officials marking the ball down. Forward progress had stopped, but a late flag came in. So I wonder if one of the Lion players didn't go up and have a few choice words to the officials about that play being down, but a late flag did come in.
We're going to have a Mardi Gras breakout here in a moment. A series of controversial plays for Mike Carey and his crew.
The ruling on the field is that the runner's forward progress was stopped before the ball came out. It's a second down. After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 94, unnecessary roughness. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So the call is on Charles Grant. He and Will Smith weren't even sure they were going to play in this game with that suspension lingering. The Lions, 4 new downs.
The Lions staff immediately burst off the sidelines when the Saints were returning that ball, and they were going to challenge the play even if it wasn't reviewed because they were screaming from the get-go that the forward progress had been stopped.
Sean Payton discussing things with Mike Carey, but the bottom line is he's inside the 1-yard line. The Lions now have a 1st and goal. What are the chances we're going to see a pass play here?
Well, I think the fact that they've tried pounding it in every time, we're gonna see another pound on 1st down. But
this would be an opportunity to set up a play action, kind of like what Drew Brees did on his last touchdown pass, or one of his previous touchdown pass, where he faked the ISO up the middle and got Shockey in the back of the end zone.
Let's look at that fumble. The forward progress stopped. And that's not reviewable. What Charles Grant do here? Flag came out. That was Will Smith who went by the Lions defender.
You know, was it a 15-yard penalty? No, I don't think so. But the fact that he did it with an official standing 3 yards away.
The runner's forward progress was stopped. That is not a reviewable play.
We made
First
that.
down.
Thanks, Mike. We made that clear. And Mike Carey trying to get this thing moving here. And all Jim Schwartz wants is a touchdown. And Matthew Stafford says, how many chances do you get? I like this NFL. Kevin Smith in the backfield. Stafford keeps it. Touchdown, Stafford.
He crosses the plane, but he takes a shot.
Let's hope they don't review it. Here comes the kick. Lions want to kick this ball in a hurry.
People are going to ask why they have the replay system when everything comes up. You can't replay it.
Well, we have a list from Mike Pereira of all plays reviewable. As Stafford smothered back by Vilma, but at that point the signal had been given, his first NFL touchdown, and for Matthew Stafford it comes on a run Not a throw. Although it should have come on a throw to Calvin Johnson, according to the Lions. So Hansen with an extra point gets it through. And the Lions, who once trailed 14-0 and battled back, now trail 28-17. But the Saint offense, with a chorus of boos cascading, gets the ball. Along with Trent Green, Chris Myers here. It's kickoff weekend in the NFL. It's been crazy for the officials, for the Saints and Lions. Bottom line is, first offensive series in the second half, and Detroit gets a touchdown. And now Robert Meacham ready to return.
And it makes that turnover at the end of the half by Matthew Stafford that much more glaring, because had they gotten the field goal there, right now you'd be looking at a one-score game.
So Jason Hansen boots it. Meacham running for it, and on the run, slips down at the 14, but can get up because he was not tagged, and now he's down at the 16, 17-yard line. William James making the stop. So Drew Brees, with 4 touchdown passes in the first half, takes over. Welcome back to New Orleans, where it's a 28-17 lead. Saints over the Lions. Matthew Stafford getting opportunities after penalties. Thought he had that touchdown pass, and it's not reviewable, that Calvin Johnson play, unless it relates to a first down or crossing the goal line. And in that particular play, it was an out-of-bounds call, not at the goal line, before the goal line. Quick pass to Heath Evans, who gets a first down.
Drew Brees picking up where he left off in the first half. Getting another first down, another completion. He spread the ball around so well, and that's what he did last year. He had a lot of injuries in the receiving core for the Saints, and everybody talked about last year throwing for 5,000 yards. He didn't have one receiver over 1,000 yards receiving. And today, you look at today's stats, the leading receiver maybe has about 40 yards. So it's another case just like last year, where he's spreading the ball around and utilizing all his weapons.
Mike Bell has been the lead man on the ground. Reggie Bush getting an assortment of touches, but has lost a fumble on a punt return. And Bell carries here. Played in 4 games last year for the Saints. In fact, his first touchdown as a Saint for Bell came against Detroit, as Reggie Bush checks back into the game. So the rushing yards, not a sparkling day there for Reggie Bush.
No, and after talking with him yesterday, we knew that was a point of emphasis for him. We knew that he's had some criticism about the ability to run the ball, and he was really more concerned with how many touches he gets, whether it be return, catches, or carries.
Bell is in the backfield on second down. Quick toss to Reggie Bush, who's got room. Near another first down. Ball comes out. Let's see if he was called down. And the official quickly says he was down.
And a lot of people would call that a run. All that is a sweep or an outside pitch to him, and by putting him in the slot and getting the ball to him quick, a lot of coaches would just call that a run. And so, once again, Reggie didn't care how many carries he had. He was worried about number of touches. I know Sean Payton had touched on 15 to 20 touches.
Did you review that play? Is that a sore subject?
Yeah, look, there comes a red
here
flag.
Comes the challenge. Uh-oh. Jim Schwartz is liking this system now.
Yeah. I wonder if he realizes he doesn't just have an unlimited number.
Well, it's a big from 3rd and 1. Yeah, remember the 3 challenges is the most that you could have. So it's 3rd and 1 if they maintain possession, but if he wins the challenge, obviously the Lions recover the fumble. What do we have to watch?
The ruling on the field is a catch and down by contact being challenged by Detroit.
And any part of the arm, forearm, it's beyond the hand, is considered down.
Yeah, you can clearly see that his knees weren't down, his legs weren't down. There wasn't any part of his legs were on the ground, but it was his elbow that hit the ground. So based on the book, then he would be down.
So Mike Carey running to review. Again, they'll check it out in slow motion as well as in live action. And while there's a replay challenge in New Orleans, we'll continue here with the Saints leading in just a moment. Sean Payton waiting on the challenge with Trent Green, Chris Myers. I just spoke with Mike Pereira on your phone, by the way, Trent, ahead of the officials in New York, reviewing this with Mike Carey.
After review, the receiver had complete control when his elbow hit the ground. Therefore, the ruling on the field is correct, down by contact. Detroit will be charged with a team timeout, their first.
And you can clearly see the defensive player touched him. He hit the ground. He's down. Then the ball came out. And just to recap on the Calvin Johnson, the clarification, the moment a player is ruled out of bounds at any place on the field, the play is dead and not reviewable. Calvin doesn't want to hear that, but those are the rules.
That may be something they have to address because it looked like he was still in bounds, and that affects a touchdown.
Yeah, Mike Pereira, the NFL, they send out an official review tape every week and talk about plays that were borderline or could be called one way. And he said, this game, you're filling up the reel here. So Jim Schwartz says, well, all right, as long as the calls go my way. So now that he's lost a challenge here and a timeout, the Saints keep the football on 3rd and 1. His defense has to take a stand to give his offense a quick opportunity here. The handoff to Bell. He's got room. That's Mike Bell to the 41 before Louis Delmas knocked him down.
And that's where you take a chance as a defense. You decide to put everybody up in the box and commit everybody up there. If there's a crease, you're going to pop it for a long one. And good job by Delmas making the tackle in the backfield. It looks like he puts a little hurting on Mike Bell's legs right there. You see him getting up limping a little bit, but I'm sure he'll be back based on the fact that he limped off once already this game and was able to work himself back in.
That average is over 5.5 a carry after that 22-yard pickup. So 1st and 10 for Drew Brees. A quick toss, complete. Devery Henderson hangs on. It will bring up 2nd down as Anthony Henry was staying with him.
That's the type of changeup you expect from the Saints offense. They've done play action, throwing the ball deep. They've done one-step drops, gotten the ball out of their hands quick. They've gone sweeps. They've gone fake pumps and then run the quick draw. They've really done a good job of changing things up from a play call standpoint.
2nd down 4, nearing the 8.5-minute mark of an adventurous 3rd quarter. Vikings and Favre have gone out in front of the Browns 24-13. The Eagles are beating up Carolina 38-10 in the 3rd. Saints hoping for a fast start in the NFC South. That's another 1st down. Mike Bell, the workhorse. And this offensive line without Jamal Brown, who had the sports hernia operation and then a hip operation. He'll be out probably until October 25th, but they're holding up well.
They are. They're doing a great job. So far, Drew Brees hasn't been sacked all day. So just like last season where Drew was one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league, this offensive line, Jermon Bushrod is back in the game after injuring his ankle or his knee earlier in the game, and now he's back in there playing well, and this offense is moving again.
1st and 10 from the 28. The revamped Lion defense, as many as 8 new starters. This time they keep Bell from gaining.
And the disappointing thing for the Detroit Lions at this point in time is they came out in the 2nd half. The offense got the ball. They moved down the field. Yeah, it got slowed by some replays and some issues there, but they got the ball in the end zone. And just when you thought momentum was maybe swinging back their way, now the Saints have been able to put together a nice drive and gotten in field goal range, and we'll see if they're able to come away with 6.
2 wide receivers on the right. He's got 2 more on the left, and Jeremy Shockey, as one of the Lions looked like they jumped here. And they're pointing at the Saints for the infraction.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty is still 2nd down.
Call is on Jonathan Goodwin. Michigan player, happy about what the Wolverines did to Notre Dame yesterday, but not happy about the call. So it'll be 2nd and 14 now from the 32-yard line. Drew Brees, first 2 series, lit up the Lions for a 14-0 lead. Saints have led throughout. Passes complete to Meacham. Not quite a 1st down. Meacham had one of the early touchdown catches.
Anthony Henry was given an awfully big cushion right there. He's way off of Meacham. He's bailing out of there, and that's his pitch and catch.
Henry came over in the trade with Dallas, sending John Kitna to the Cowboys, the backup there for Tony Romo. Cowboys battling the Bucks down in Tampa today. So a 3rd and 2. Do they give it to Bell or does Breeze throw it? Breeze steps up, fires short, and that will bring up a field goal opportunity. Devery Henderson, the intended receiver, and an important stop there because the last time Kearney tried a field goal, the Lions were able to block it.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays. You saw Drew at the line of scrimmage. It looked like he was making a check. Drew told us yesterday in the meeting that they come up to the line a lot of times with a run-pass check, and on that, the Detroit Lions brought their guys up into the gaps, their linebackers, their safeties, made it look like it was going to be a blitz. Drew checks to the pass. Everybody bails out of there, and that's why Drew had to make that last-minute adjustment with his feet and try and get the ball out of his hands.
A 39-yard field goal attempt for Kearney. This time no block. It's up there, out there, and good. So the Saints add to their lead. It's 31-17. Saints will be kicking it back to the Lions. From the Superdome in New Orleans, Saints leading 31-17, 6:11 to go in the 3rd quarter. Former quarterback Trent Green with Chris Myers watching the debut of 21-year-old Matthew Stafford, number 1 overall draft pick out of Georgia, who has gone 9 of 21 for 129 yards. He scored on a touchdown run and suffered an interception. Thomas Morstead to kick it off. Aaron Brown from his goal line. Aaron Brown gets through a few. He's got room. Aaron Brown is on the run. All the way to the 10 of New Orleans. And if it wasn't for the hustle of Malcolm Jenkins, he'd be celebrating a touchdown right now.
And I think Malcolm Jenkins was feeling a little bit of a makeup after the Calvin Johnson catch, and that's where he's drafted number 1 for that type of speed. Great return, has the vision to cut back. A lot of times special team coaches don't like you doing all that stopping and starting, but if you're able to make guys miss like that and you feel the flow of that coverage unit going one way and you're able to change direction and catch a seam, that can develop into a big play.
An 87-yard return. Aaron Brown, the 6th-round draft choice out of Texas Christian. Another draft choice, Matthew Stafford here with Kevin Smith in the backfield on 1st down. Kevin Smith doesn't get much. Saints have done a good job bottling him up. See Brandon Pettigrew, 84, the rookie tight end, later 1st-round pick out of Oklahoma State, is in the game. As the Saints defense behind the active linebackers, Scott Fujita, Scott Shanley, and Jonathan Vilma, not allowing the Lions running game to get in gear. A golden opportunity, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Stafford fakes, throws, completes. Casey Fitzsimmons near another 1st down.
What I like about that play is they're able to work the play fake. Watch, he comes here with the draw fake, brings the coverage in there. You can see Fujita bite on the draw fake, and that gives the crease for the tight end to sit down in that hole, and Stafford puts it right on the money, and he gets his shoulders low and gets the 1st down.
An 11-yard pickup, so 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. This is where Stafford kept it last time. The Saints defense has been stingy down here. Play clock. Kevin Smith doesn't get in. Stafford was the only guy holding his hands up.
Well, a lot of times as an offense, if you feel they're doing a lot of zone pressure and putting a lot of bodies up in there, you can run that guy on a fake around or a fake reverse and try and draw those edges to stay honest, and you can pop that up the middle, and that's what they tried doing there. The problem is the Saints were in a man-to-man defense, so it didn't work on that one.
Calvin Johnson is on the right. 2 receivers on the left and Kevin Smith in the back. A penalty flag. And that looks like
false start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty is still 2nd.
So the penalty on Daniel Loper is a big one because you go from inside the 1. 6th penalty on Detroit to back around the 5.5, 6 yard line. Now they did do a pitch to Kevin Smith down here. He ran wide for a touchdown. That's their first time they got into the end zone.
You can see they're playing Jabari Greer on the outside here with Sharper on the inside, doubling up Calvin.
Stafford on the move. Throws incomplete. He was looking for Calvin Johnson, but there just wasn't much there.
So you've got the inside-outside coverage there, Sharper over the top, and right there, Jabari does not want an outside release. He knows he has inside help. It's a good job with him sticking with Calvin as Matthew was scrambling around. But when you know you have inside support by Sharper, you do not want that guy going outside on his release.
So the Saint defense would come out as big winners if they hold them to a field goal. It's 3rd and 5, 3rd and goal from the 5. Stafford incomplete for Bryant Johnson. The Lions are 1 out of 10 today on 3rd down.
Well, you got to kick the field goal here. It'd be different if they didn't have the penalty and they were at 4th and 1. But now with 6 yards to go, you haven't been effective moving the ball inside the 10-yard line. You have to get points on the board and position yourself where in the 4th quarter, if it comes down to a tight ball game, these 3 points are going to mean a lot.
You keep bringing up that interception right before the half that Stafford threw down here on 1st down. You figure even if you come out with a 3, that changes things dramatically here. It'll be a 24-yard attempt. Jason Hanson nails it. So the Lions on a penalty miss a golden opportunity.
With the development of this route right here, you have 2 guys, you have man-to-man, you see the defender undercut it. If Matthew was able to put some air on that ball and let the receiver run through it, it looks like he got a little excited. He put it in there a little bit too hot, a little bit too hard to where the receiver couldn't make an adjustment. As the defensive back is undercutting that, if you put some air and let the guy run to the corner, you tend to give yourself a better opportunity to make that catch.
The last 5 number 1 overall picks in the draft at that position, their starts chronologically of those 5, who came out a winner on opening day? You passed Trent Green, move up 1. And look at the careers that guys like Aikman and Manning, well, all of them have had in terms of Super Bowls. And so don't judge Matthew Stafford just by what you've seen today, but you talk about a mature guy, a leader. Can he make the throws? Can he handle situations?
And Matthew's proven that to this point. He got a little bit antsy towards the middle of the game. At the end of the first half, he tried forcing a ball. But for the most part, he's maintained his poise. You see a lot of the things that the coaches talked about with Matthew. He's a good leader. He's a vocal leader. He understands the game. He's well prepared. Sometimes you get a little bit anxious, and you're going to get that from a young quarterback. And the coaches told us that you're going to get some of that when you're dealing with a young quarterback. But for the most part, he's handled himself well here today.
So 10 out of 24 and the touchdown run. He looks worn out already. We still have a quarter plus to go. 3:22 remaining here in the 3rd. Robert Meacham on the return. He's got some room and he can fly. Cutting back across the 40. Excellent field position, just what the Saints wanted. You know, we know this is an outstanding offense, but you talked about how they wanted to improve their defense to get back to the playoffs. The last couple of years hanging around a 500 record with that great offense. And when they did go to the NFC Championship game 3 years ago, it was the defense that played up to the level of the offense. And so far, they've done a job. You know, Kevin Smith, he's got 15 carries, 20 yards. They've taken the run away from the Lions.
They have, and that's one of the things we touched on with Greg Williams is he knew coming in here it wasn't going to have to be a 10-7 game or a 14-10 game. He knew this offense could put up points, and that was one of the reasons he thinks he can make a difference here.
Reggie Bush with Breeze on 1st down. And Drew in the pocket down the middle. He's got him. Devery Henderson, it's a touchdown, Saints.
We've been saying it all day.
if you give Drew Brees time in the pocket to where he can step up, this offensive line has done a great job all day. He has yet to be sacked. He slides up in the pocket, steps in and makes the throw and puts it right on stride to where Henderson can just fly down the field. Doesn't have to wait on the ball, catches it in stride and outruns everybody.
58 yards, 5 touchdown passes for Drew Brees. I hope you have him in your fantasy league, Trent. He's thrown one to Devery Henderson, one to Meacham, one to Colston, 2 to Jeremy Shockey. And here goes the extra point for Carney. Back to an 18-point lead. Former LSU star Devery Henderson.
Yeah, and I don't have Drew Brees in my fantasy league, but one of my sons does, and I'm sure he's doing backflips right now.
Troy Aikman, who we talked about as a Hall of Fame player, former #1 overall pick, who you'll hear with Joe Buck on the NFL on Fox doubleheader game later today with the Redskins and the Giants. They had a fantasy draft. He tweeted, and he drafted Drew Brees, which was a good selection. So we talked about how the defense has to complement the offense. That's where Greg Williams, defensive coordinator, hired by Sean Payton, who, by the way, gave up some of his own money to bring him in to be able to pay him. You want to know what the other side's doing, you have to work together.
It'll be interesting. You know, Greg Williams has a reputation of bringing pressure, putting pressure on the quarterbacks. You can see there in 2006, they were the 11th ranked defense. They made all the way to the NFC Championship game. They've fallen off the last couple years. Greg Williams was brought in to change that, to change the culture on the defensive side of the ball. He talked about coming here and playing with a lead. Right now they've got an 18-point lead with a little bit over a quarter to go. It'll be interesting because he's got a reputation as someone that likes to bring combination pressure. Be interesting to see if he starts rushing 3 and 4 and dropping everybody into coverage, forcing Stafford to try and find those creases and seams up the field, which in turn creates turnovers.
It's interesting hearing offensive players as Morstead kicks off to Aaron Brown. Brown from the goal line. Smothered at the 15-yard line. It was interesting hearing offensive players like Drew Brees and Reggie Bush talk about how the defensive intensity had picked up and changed the entire attitude of the team in practice.
Well, they're saying not only did the attitude of the defense change and the approach of the defense and the culture on the defense had changed, but because of the intensity the defense is bringing to the field now at practice, it has made the offense better. They feel that the offense has gotten better because of that intensity.
And Drew Brees has tied his career high with those 5 touchdown passes. It's the 3rd time in his career that he has done that, and he's not done yet. Meanwhile, Matthew Stafford has some work to do, trailing 38-20, under 3 to go in the 3rd. That's Brian Johnson who makes the catch for a first down and eventually goes down at the 35-yard line. Let's check in on the Cowboys and Bucks with Kurt Benefield.
Drew Brees having a great day in your game. Tony Romo doing awfully well himself in Tampa. This 80-yard pass to Patrick Creighton, the longest of Romo's career. Tony Romo, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the Cowboys lead the Bucks 27-14. Chris and Trent.
Thanks, Kurt. Of course, the Bucks of the NFC South trailing. Atlanta's winning and Carolina's losing. Saints will take on the Eagles next week on Fox. And the Lions get the Vikings. Stafford throw. Did he hang on? It looked like it was, yes, near the first down marker. That's again Brian Johnson, who's averaged 40 catches the last 6 straight seasons.
You can see Porter's back in the game. He's able to drive on the ball, but Stafford leaves that ball on the outside. And
we might have a challenge here. Look, Sean Payton went out and slowly handed it to the official to say, I think he dropped that ball.
And you can see on the replay that the ball clearly hit the ground.
The red challenge flag getting more airtime today than you and me. Or you and I, or both of us. Sorry, my grammar's off with all of these official reviews and challenges. Sean?
The ruling on the field is a completed pass for a first down. It's being challenged by New Orleans.
Sean Payton can smile because he has an 18-point lead.
And you can see the ball hits him in the hands, and
that's clearly incomplete.
On the ground. Yeah. So this should be quick for Mike Carey, but we'll see what happens.
And it'll put the Lions and Stafford in a further hole here once they rule this an incompletion. Matthew Stafford is his first throw. Kevin Smith bobbled it. It was incomplete. Then he hit his next 4 passes. His first official NFL completion came to Calvin Johnson. Thought he had a big touchdown pass to Calvin Johnson. Ended up scoring. That's his first NFL completion. Here the Lions get on the board with Kevin Smith scoring. And then he got the second Lions touchdown. All in all, probably other than that interception right before the half, which is one of those that if you don't have to, you don't go there. He's done a pretty good job under the circumstances.
Well, he has. And the one thing we talked about coming in here is that the Lions wanted to run the ball, and they were going to utilize Kevin Smith and run the ball more and use some play action pass and try and take all the pressure off Matthew Stafford. They've been ineffective running the ball today, and that's where everything has fallen on Matthew's shoulders to try and make something happen in the passing game.
You know, he started as a sophomore in high school and freshman at Georgia in college, and showed at least that he could absolutely handle the job here. Dante Culpepper had a pretty good preseason battling for that starting job.
After review, it's an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10 on the Detroit 35-yard line. The New Orleans Saints hash mark. Please put 1:55 on the game clock. New Orleans will not be charged with a team timeout. Thank you.
And Sean says, good, that's what replay is for. We're supposed to get it right. And that clearly, there's no argument.
Yeah, there was no argument, and Mike Carey was very polite, saying thank you at the end of that, and I'm sure the crowd appreciated it.
So 1:55 to go in the third. It's now 2nd and 10 for Stafford. Quick pass, incomplete, again intended for Brian Johnson. The Lions had hoped that Johnson would be able to come up with 6 or 7 catches today because they thought Calvin Johnson would see a lot of double coverage or attract a lot of attention.
You're right, and you're trying to spread the ball around. You're trying to get everybody involved because you know what Calvin Johnson brings. You know he's going to get double covered most of the day. So the other receivers on the field, or the backs or the tight ends for that matter, have to be able to get open and win those one-on-one matchups.
They've gone to him 13 times, but the Saints defense has been tough when it comes to Calvin Johnson making the catch. 3rd down. He fakes, he fires, it's intercepted. Scott Shanley picks it off from his linebacker spot. He had somebody wide open down here. I think it was Yamon Figures. And he just underthrew or was looking in the other direction. He was wide open on the right sideline.
Yeah, you look at the Saints coverage on this play, and it looks to be they're in a deep cover 2 because they know it's 3rd and 10, so they're trying to keep everything in front of you. Matthew comes out, he looks to his left, he does a little pump fake to that side, he comes back to the right, he has a receiver open in the hole, back down the sideline. In between those two, you can see how the ball comes out of his hand. It comes out end over end and hits the linebacker right in the chest. So my guess is something must have slipped out of his hand or he had second thoughts, but he had a receiver open down the sideline.
Second interception on 1st down. Bell. Ball is loose, and the Lions have it. Louis Delmas, the rookie from Western Michigan, is headed the other way. Chased by Colston, but Delmas is going to have a touchdown for Detroit.
Have we not had a crazy game? Momentum changes like every single snap. So this has been definitely been an exciting game and puts the Lions right back in it.
65 yards. Bell loses it. Delmas scoops it. And the 2nd-round draft pick, who they hope will make a lot of big plays in the future, has come up with one in his first NFL game. That's one thing that Jim Schwartz and this Lion team has this year. They say they're different from last year. They do battle back.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Lewis. Great job on getting the fumble return and scoring, but you better get ready because the Saint offense is coming right back out after this extra point and kickoff. Saint offense is coming right back out, and knowing Drew Brees, knowing Sean Payton, they're going to be a little ticked off by that and try and attack. So catch your wind as fast as you can and get ready to go.
And Brees maybe could get a record for him, 6 touchdown passes. Maybe the Lions will apply more heat. The extra point for Hansen, and it's back to an 11-point lead. And Drew Brees has been tough on this Lions secondary. Remember, they don't have Phillip Buchanan, a late scratch with a neck injury. Touchdown to get things going.
Drew does such a great job with his vision in the pocket. He's not looking to run. He's looking to buy time to throw. And when his line gives him a pocket like he's had, and he's able to slide up in the pocket, slide over, he finds those matchups and finds those creases in the defense, and he's very accurate with his throws, and that's proven out today.
It's like putting out a brush fire because there are so many different receivers. You don't know who to worry about. Shockey, who had no touchdown catches last year, has 2 in today's game. But Drew is now worried, or at least wants to protect that 38-27 lead. The Lions defense coming up with a big scoring play after the second interception thrown by Matthew Stafford. That was one thing the Saints wanted to do on defense, was take away the football. The last 3 years they had only 64 takeaways. That's second worst in the league. The Redskins have the worst.
That was one thing that the defensive players and Greg Williams all touched on, is that they need to create more turnovers on defense. They have gotten Matthew Stafford to throw two interceptions. But you look at the way the Lions have scored. They've scored a defensive touchdown. They've scored a special teams touchdown. They're staying in this game.
And Robert Meacham with a chance on the return. Lions special teams bottle them up inside the 23-24 yard line. Drew Brees, 21 of 28. He has more than 300 yards passing, and that career high equaling 5 touchdown tosses. So I think you're also thinking, obviously, Trent, you want points, but let's chew some clock up. Let's keep the ball for a while.
You're right. We're not even into the fourth quarter yet, and this game seems to be going back and forth, and you nailed it. The Saints want to be able to run the ball. This is what they talked about, running the ball when you want to run the ball. Run the ball to get first downs at the end of the game. Run the ball to use up the clock to keep the other team off the field. And that's what they talked about to us. That's been a point of emphasis this entire offseason, and this is their opportunity to do it right here.
Looks like Yamon Figures having a problem, the injured player for the Lions. Saints will be at their own 22-yard line when they start this series. That's Dean Kleinschmidt on the left of Coach Schwartz, a longtime Saints trainer, now in Detroit. Does an excellent job taking care of players. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee and see what's going on around the league. Kurt?
A lot of people made Adrian Peterson their #1 pick. Chris and Trent.
Thanks, Kurt. And here it's 38-27. A game that New Orleans has led throughout. But the Lions, the new look Lions, fighting back, trying to stay in it. Brees on first down. Has time, dumps it to Reggie Bush, who was stopped short of the 30-yard line. Anthony Henry from his corner spot.
So much for running the ball and using up some clock and working on the run game with a 11-point lead heading into the fourth quarter. But Drew did a good job of not forcing the ball down the field, hitting his check down, and once again, that little 3-4 yard dump off to Reggie Bush, that's like a running play for him, and he's able to make a guy miss and gain 8 yards out of that play.
Bush 5 catches today for 55 yards, 3 rushing attempts, no yards rushing there, and 3 punt returns, 2 fumbles, 1 that he did lose on 2nd and 2. Reggie carries here. Looks like it'll be 3rd and short. That's Larry Foote coming up from that linebacker spot. Larry Foote grew up a fan of Jack Tatum, the former Raider hard-hitting safety. That book, Call Me Assassin.
And Larry Foote had a Jack Tatum type hit there. He went right for his head. He had the big arm coming right across his head, and that was very reminiscent of a Jack Tatum hit.
Larry Foote from Michigan. We said, of course, the former Wolverine, coming back to Detroit after successful years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Bell in the backfield. And we're going to let the clock run out here in the 3rd quarter. So 3rd and 1 as we begin the 4th quarter. And at the end of 3, it's the Saints 38, the Lions 27. Glad you're enjoying the NFL on Fox from New Orleans on this kickoff weekend with Trent Green, Chris Myers, Chuck McDonald, our producer, Greg Scopatone, our director and crew. It's been an entertaining game and a key 3rd down and 1. Detroit needs the stop, trailing 38-27. The handoff to Bell. There's no stopping him to the 40 and a first down as the clock runs to start the 4th quarter. His average has been big all day.
Great vision by Mike Bell. He's able to see the defense get penetration on one side. He makes the cutback and is able to get the first down. That was a big first down to start off this 4th quarter. Like we said, the Saints want to use up some time of possession. They want to use up some clock. Keep this Lions offense off the field.
They've changed the field position. 96 yards rushing for Bell as Breeze rolls out and completes to Colston. A first down at the 47, 46-yard line before Julian Peterson brought him down. Colston, a 7th-round draft pick out of Hofstra, was a big find at a 6'4". One of those big targets for Breeze, and then he's got the little guys like Lance Moore at 5'9". And they got Jeremy Shockey at 6'5". You got a speed guy like Devery Henderson and even Robert Meacham, and he has spread the ball around. That's Meacham in the backfield with Bell. Bell gets the carry on first down. Looks like the Lions are wearing down a little here.
They are. This is just what we talked about. When the Saints started this drive, they want to use up some clock. They want to get first downs. You know Drew Brees is going to take a big play anytime he gets it. And they have called a couple plays where he's looking downfield and he's hit his check down. But for the most part, they're trying to utilize clock and keep the chains moving.
So from the 40-yard line, as Bell goes over the 100-yard rushing mark, with Pierre Thomas watching on the sidelines. 2nd and 4. Bell again. First down and more. Down to the 31-yard line. When your safety, Marco Emmanuel, has to keep making the stop, something big is going on up front.
You're right. And when Pierre Thomas is watching this from the sideline, he's got to be, I better be back next week. The way Mike Bell is running the ball, he's not getting hit and getting knocked back. Every time there's contact, he seems to be going forward. And as hard as he's running, right now and following his fullback up in the hole, Pierre better get back.
Those 20 carries, a career high. Saints got him as a free agent. He's a former Bronco out of Arizona. Bell hit hard this time. And Larry Foote said enough is enough.
It was interesting when we talked with Drew Brees the other day. He was talking about Mike Bell, and he said he felt that Mike Bell was the MVP of training camp, of the preseason. He just really liked the way that he worked. He liked the way that he came in and he took charge and was very impressed with the work ethic that Mike Bell showed.
Deuce McAllister wants the go-to back on the ground here, and Pierre Thomas, who led the team in rushing, was to take that role, and probably still will, but at least with Bell and Bush, you've got a lot of choices. 2nd down. Reggie carries this time. Reggie Bush trying to get to the outside, dragged down at the 30, and he turned the corner. Look out, but Anthony Henry made sure he did not. Colston and Meacham check in.
This is one of the things we talked with Reggie about. He's got to understand at a certain point in time, instead of trying to bounce everything, he realizes he bounces everything, and it's hard for him because at every level he's played with his quickness and his speed, he's been able to utilize big plays, and he knows that he's got to manage that better. And when there's a play to take, to lower his shoulder and go get it. But right there was nothing for him to get.
3rd and 9. Breeze with time, right on target to David Thomas, the tight end they just traded for from New England. But Billy Miller went out for the season with an injury. Of course, Dan Campbell also at that position on injured reserve. A big first down for the Saints.
The Lions on defense try and bring pressure. They bring the guy up the slot. They bring a linebacker. They just can't get to Breeze. He steps up in the pocket like he's done over and over today and puts the ball right on the money for another big first down. And you can see the clock just ticking away, ticking away.
10.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Saints could deliver a knockout punch here. Drew Brees Game clock running down, and right at the snap gets the most out of that as Bell carries. There wasn't a lot of room there, but he made something happen. Penalty flag. Looked like a late hit out of bounds. Ernie Sims over there. We'll check on the penalty and we'll check on the injury.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense number 50. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down, 21 may remain in the game.
Although Bell is going to limp off, he was the player down. Looks like he's hurting a bit. Ernie Sims hit with the penalty. One of those defensive starters returning.
The one thing about Ernie Sims, they've said, is just his speed. He's one of the best young linebackers in the league. He plays with a great deal of speed, but he's got to understand when you're going sideline to sideline, sometimes there's plays to be made, and Mike Bell was able to come off the field and get fixed up. But with Pierre Thomas being out of the game, they want Mike Bell back in the game, and this Detroit Lions got to be able to hold him to a field goal here to keep it a 2-score game.
So from the 6-yard line, first and goal with Reggie Bush in the game. Breeze looks to throw for Heath Evans, who has it, is brought down inside the 3 by Larry Foote. It'll be second and goal. You know, Drew Brees and Mike Bell have stole the show, the debut of Matthew Stafford today.
On the replay here, you can see Drew's looking upfield. You know, he's got 5 touchdowns today, but he's looking for another one. But he does the smart thing, dumps it off. One mistake today. He's got the 1 interception. But other than that, he's played near flawless.
And that was on one of those gimmick plays. That's Reggie Bush splitting out to the right side. And the give is to Heath Evans. Penalty flag comes in on the back end of that as he gets near the goal line.
Generally, the flag coming in from that standpoint is going to be a holding at the point of attack.
Holding, offense number 77. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Another penalty in the game. Both teams have had their share of flags today. And this is a big one. Where it happens, when it happens.
You talk about red zone efficiency. You talk about getting the ball in the end zone, shooting yourself in the foot. The Saints talked about that. We touched on it earlier in the game. They talked about it the other day. Interceptions, turnovers, penalties, it costly.
That's what
Detroit's defense, this is big for them because Detroit wants to hold them to a field goal once again to keep it to a 2-possession game.
6 penalties on New Orleans, 7 on Detroit. So backed up to the 13 now. Second and goal. 8:45 to play in the 4th. Breeze in the air, and an opportunity there. He's looking for Lance Moore. So it'll be third down. Marquand Manuel, the safety, reaching for his shin. Needs some help in the end zone.
Drew may have gotten a little greedy on this. Although the way he's throwing the ball, he feels like you can put it anywhere. On days like this where you're able to put the ball anywhere you want to put it, your confidence grows and grows as the game goes on. And right there, he gets the safety in the corner. He's able to split him. He does put the ball in position where the receiver can catch the ball, but that's an awfully tight window with this type of lead and knowing that you're assured of a field goal.
So Marquand Manuel, the injured player, the safety for the Lions, will check on that and continue from New Orleans.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Madden NFL 10, available now, rated E for everyone. EA Sports, it's in the game. By DirecTV, follow your favorite team no matter where you live with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. By Hyundai Assurance, a little certainty in uncertain times. And by Bud Light Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with a refreshing taste of lime.
The Saints got out to a 14-0 lead, and ooh, it's scary when Drew Brees gets hot. 5 touchdown passes in the game. And now on third and goal. Heath Evans on a fullback screen. Heath Evans is in for the touchdown. That might just take the steam out of the Lions.
Yeah, Detroit's got to feel sick about that. They got him in a situation where they think they can hold him to a field goal, keep this a 2-possession game. They only rushed 4. They dropped 7 into coverage. Good block by the offensive line, pulling around through. If you're that defender on the outside, you have to get outside and force him to turn back in, and you can see they just got sealed off by that wall of offensive line. And for Drew Brees.
Yeah, 6 touchdown passes, a career best in one game. And the extra point by John Carney. 45 points for the Saints. And they lead at 40-27, 8:29 to go. Another target for Drew Brees. That's Heath Evans, the former Patriot, Seahawk and Dolphin, signed as a fullback. That 6th touchdown toss. Shockey has 2, but he's hit Henderson and Meacham and Colston and more. And now it'll be Matthew Stafford's turn, who's yet to throw a touchdown pass in the NFL. He does have a touchdown run of a yard, trailing 45-27. Aaron Brown up the middle and middle. So Matthew Stafford will have to try and move his team in a hurry, trailing here in New Orleans. Turnovers, controversial call, 72 points combined. Drew Brees, 6 touchdown passes, a career high in one game, and Matthew Stafford, the 21-year-old, his NFL debut. Kevin Smith near a first down. Clock running, just over 8 minutes to go. You know, they asked him one of those psychology tests during the draft with Stafford, if you had to be one of 3, if you couldn't be a pro football player, would you be a chef, an auto mechanic, or a race car driver? And he took race car driver. That figures at Detroit, right? But also the other jobs, he said, just don't really fit his personality.
Right.
It's understandable. Well, here, he's got to hurry. He's got to race to the other end zone. Smith for the first down. And Anthony Hargrove in on the stop, one of those reserve defensive linemen for the Saints, working on a comeback.
He's a guy that the Saints think really highly of. I know that the NFL suspended him last year, and because of some personal issues off the field, he had to sit out all of last season. But that's somebody they feel really strongly about, that they think they can utilize as a defensive tackle, if at times move him to defensive end. He's a hard worker, and they're real excited about having him on this staff. They think he has the potential.
Stafford at 1st and 10. Pressure from behind, almost another interception. He already has thrown 2.
Right now, the front guys of the Saints defensive line, they got to be thinking, smelling blood in the water, and knowing that they're going to throw, knowing that they've got this lead, that they're not going to blitz a lot of guys. They're just going to let their down 4 go in there. They're going to drop into coverage with this type of lead.
Tough challenge for Stafford. Here comes more pressure. We just wanted to get rid of that.
And of course, right when I guess that, they bring a safety pressure, they bring safeties, they bring linebackers, they go cover man-to-man.
That's so it's not easy playing quarterback.
It's not easy being a coordinator. It's not easy being a coordinator, because just when you think you've got the lead, this is what Greg Williams was talking about, playing with the lead and changing things up to put the pressure on the quarterback. And he said it's going to be fun playing with the lead for a change.
With this offense, they'll be doing a lot of that. Jeff Charleston of the Saints called it fresh meat. Bobby McCray said, you know, we let Matt Ryan take advantage of this last year. We won't take the kid lightly, and they have not. 3rd and 10. Full screen to Kevin Smith, who's going to be short of the first down. And Randall Gay in to make the stop.
They pulled the punting unit off the field. They're going for it.
Give Matthew Stafford a test here. Scott Linehan will sending the play. Usually Scott's upstairs looking down, but he wanted, with the rookie, to be more in communication.
He got more comfortable on the sidelines as the head coach of the St. Louis Rams, calling the plays from down there when he did early on in his tenure at St. Louis. He said he felt more comfortable, and he wanted to be there for Matthew on the sidelines and have that open communication with him.
4th down. The officials called time before the play was run. There was one-on-one coverage with Calvin Johnson.
Before the snap, timeout, New Orleans. Their first, a 30-second timeout.
Mike Carey pointing out that the defense of the Saints on 4th and 1 facing Stafford wanted to adjust things. Calvin Johnson looked like they had something going there for the
There was a
Lions.
chance, just one of the few times today that Calvin Johnson's been one-on-one. And they know that he's the type of weapon. You get the ball in his hands, as big and as physical as he is, you get him one-on-one. Doesn't matter who the corner is. He's a guy that can go up and battle for the ball and generally comes down with it.
Just 3 catches for Calvin Johnson, 31 yards. They've thrown to him quite a bit. From Highland Park, Texas, same place that the great Lion quarterback Bobby Lane came from. That's what Jim Schwartz said when he took over the team. We need a quarterback in here, and they got Stafford on 4th and 1. He's going to roll out, throws, and juggle. Did he hang on? That's Bryant Johnson, and yes, the official says catch.
That's one of the reasons why they like Matthew Stafford. He has a big enough arm, and he's strong enough to be able to squeeze it in these tight spots. And how he gets that ball in there, I don't know. But Porter's right there to make the play. He doesn't get it. Bryant Johnson does a good job of squeezing it, getting his feet inbound.
So it's a fresh set of downs from midfield, trailing 45-27. Just under 6 minutes to play. Stafford with time underneath to Kevin Smith for a gain of about 8.
And we talked about Kevin Smith being an all-down, every-down type of back, being able to utilize him in the passing game, the running game. He hasn't been very effective running the ball today. There haven't been any holes for him, but he has been an outlet for Matthew in the passing game.
Haven't seen Maurice Morris, who they picked up from Seattle as a free agent, who in the preseason ran a lot of screens. 2nd down, Stafford from the pocket down the sideline, a little bit long for Calvin Johnson. It'll be 3rd down. You know, the curse of Bobby Lane, legend has it that the great Lion quarterback, after being traded, put a hex, said they wouldn't win for 50 years in Detroit. Led them to 3 NFL championships in the 50s. Well, that 50 years has expired now. And so after 0-16, there's hope, there's optimism with Jim Schwartz and Matthew Stafford. Despite the score today, the Lions gave us some thrills throughout the afternoon.
Well, they haven't. Up until this point, they've already put 27 points on the board. So this is as good of an offensive showing as they showed all of last season.
1 for 12 on 3rd down. That's the 1st down. And a tough hit. Yamon Figures held on, and a flag comes in on the end of that play. The Lions thin at receiver in terms of depth. Derek Williams inactive, the rookie from Penn State.
Holding, defense number 42 is declined. 1st down, Detroit.
They're going to call that on Darren Sharper, but it's a 1st down catch by Yamon Figures. Let's take a look at that hit again.
Yeah, I think they got that number wrong. Jabari Greer, number 32, is the one that was tugging on Yamon on that route, and Sharper's the one that came up and put the lick on him.
So it's a 1st down for Stafford. Down the middle of the field, and that's intercepted by Sharper. His 2nd of the game. The NFL's active leading interceptor has 2 today and 56 in his career, and a flag comes out. Got the Lions and Saints going at it at midfield after the play. Looked like Stephen Peterman was involved.
after the ball was dead. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 51. From the dead ball spot, 15 yards, automatic, first down, timeout.
So tack on a penalty. Another turnover. That's 3 for Matthew Stafford. Darren Sharper, his second interception, 3 turnovers for each team in this game. And coming up, Redskins and Giants, NFC East battle with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. It's scoreless in the opening quarter. And here the Saints trying to close it out. 4:48 to go. That's Mike Bell, over 100 yards for the day. That penalty at the end of the interception was on Lions center Dominic Raiola, the veteran. Had quite a few of those unsportsmanlike calls today.
And I think having talked with Coach Schwartz about what his expectations are for this Detroit team, like you mentioned, they had the 3 turnovers. They've also had 4 or 5 unsportsmanlike conducts. He's going to address all those things because not only is he trying to change the performance on the field, he's trying to change the culture and what everybody thinks of the Detroit Lions.
And the lack of a running game, they gave it a try. There just wasn't much there. Saints defense deserves credit. Bell taking care of the Saints running game. It's been in his hands today, and he has measured up.
Good vision on Bell's part, hitting the cutback, hitting the crease, making things happen. I know Drew Brees is having a career day, 6 touchdown passes. It's going to be hard-pressed to not think Mike Bell is co-MVP along with Drew Brees because the type of game he's playing, he's filling in for Pierre Thomas. He's just playing an outstanding game.
And Brees, another game of 200 yards or more. Shattered that as Bell carries again and has room. They're trying to slow him down, grab it onto his jersey. Brees has thrown for 359 yards. Bell has run for well over 100 now. 5 different receivers have touchdown catches for the #1 offense in the NFL last year. And I don't think anybody's going to top them this weekend.
They're on a pretty good start to separate themselves from the rest of the league, and I guarantee you that Mike Bell's going to be in the cold tank, getting a little ice bath after this one.
A career high in carries, 24, 133 yards. Clock running as Brees takes it to the last second and gives it to Bell for another first down. Twisting, turning, and frustrating the Lions. Detroit gets Minnesota next week. The Saints will face the Eagles as Bell comes out to a round of applause. Impressive numbers for the former Bronco, the free agent out of Arizona in his 4th year. Nearing the 2-minute warning. Reggie Bush, his 15th touch of the day. Reggie Bush inside the 5, near another first down. And we have hit the 2-minute warning. You have been warned. The Saints lead the Lions 45-27. Saints trying to run out the clock and run the Lions out of town. The Giants have a 3-0 lead at home against the Redskins. You'll see that game next. They have kicked off already. Last year the Giants swept Washington in that NFC East showdown. First and goal. Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush has a Saints touchdown. And a penalty flag comes in. So don't count it just yet.
Holding, offense number 85. 10-yard penalty is still first down.
And people wonder why Reggie doesn't just lower his shoulder and run in there, and he takes a lot of criticism for not doing that. And the last 2 runs he's had have been big runs, and every time he's used his athleticism and his speed to, when the pile's not there, to bounce it and get around the edge. And when you have that kind of talent, you tend to lean on it. And he knows that. He admitted that to us the other day, that sometimes he leans on it too much and it catches up to him because of the speed in this league. But
That's why he does it right there. The last 2 carries have proven that.
And Sean Payton doesn't apologize for the skills of Reggie Bush. He is glad to have him, knowing what he is capable of doing, getting him the touches. Obviously, the turnover today on the punt return, the one that he lost, not happy with. But he's a threat. Defenses have to worry about where he lines up. That's why a guy like Bell or Pierre Thomas run the football up the middle.
And that's why you can utilize him so many different ways. We saw him line up on the outside, and they used him as a wide receiver. We've seen him in the backfield. We've seen him a number of different ways.
So the penalty negates the score. Reggie gets a carry, and here he goes. Making sure to stay in bounds as the clock runs. 140 and ticking.
As much as he wanted to bounce that outside and keep going, he did the smart thing right there. You know you got the clock running. Turn it up inside. Keep the clock moving. Mike Bell's coming back in the game.
Reggie comes to the sideline. 5 catches, 8 carries, 3 punt returns. Clock running here. Just over a minute to go.
That's right in that range that Coach Payton wanted for him. He said that 15 to 20 range, and he ended up with 16 touches.
So Bell again. Now, if you're the Lions, what do you take out of this game aside from Matthew Stafford's debut?
Well, I think you look at you scored a touchdown on special teams. You scored a touchdown on defense. Yeah, you gave up a lot of yards through the air. There are some positives. You get Matthew Stafford some experience. You're excited that they were down 14-0. The entire sideline didn't go into the tank. They kept fighting. This game was really close for a good part of the game until we get into the fourth quarter and the Saints scored these last couple touchdowns. You know, it was in striking distance, and they kept themselves in the game until the very end.
3rd and goal. Unfitting that Bell will run this out as the clock winds down, and for the Saints, a fast start in a year that many think they're a playoff team.
They have all the tools to make it happen.
45-27, the Saints over Jim Schwartz and the Lions. For Trent Green, our entire crew, I'm Chris Myers. The Giants and Redskins are next on Fox.